Welcome to Dad Crossing, a podcast about animals and parenting. Today we're talking all about top 10s. Top 10 moments of New Horizons, top 10 games, top 10 dad moments. This is your dad joking cynic, Nick Metzger, and my favorite co-host, the ultimate stockholder, Sean Abbott. What's up, Sean?
How you doing?
I am fantastic.
I still like that name for stockholder. I mean, it still reflects on how hard I pushed the turnip exchange.
You were serious. Like, you would sit in line for hours. I mean, I remember you being like, I'm in like a 2-hour line at the turnip exchange over here trying to get that done. I've never done it.
I'd have two iPads going and potentially my phone at the same time on different queues. But Lindsay was only as bad. The wife was only as bad.
Yeah. No, I remember you being like, yeah, Lindsay's in line and I'm in line. One of us is going to get a good one. I'll drop the code if I get it. I remember this. Yeah, you were serious into the stockholder. So for those of you who don't know, we thought we would start our cast from now on using our passport name from New Horizons. Whatever it currently is, it'll change. I'm sure of that. Sean's at the moment is the ultimate stockholder because, well, he was the ultimate turn-up man back in the day when that was still a thing. I don't know if many people are really doing it in our Discord anymore, quite frankly.
No, I think everybody kind of jumped on, got to a ridiculous amount of bells and kind of was like, I've got enough money to do everything now. Tom Nook's not an enemy.
That's true. Yeah, that's 100% true. I think, that's where I'm at. I know my son even asked me on Sunday. I was just doing some stuff on there, and he was like, "You're gonna get turnips," and I was like, "Nah." He's like, "Yeah, I'm not either."
Yeah. She could, like, if I see her on the island on a Sunday, I won't run past her and say, "Not anymore." Sorry.
That's right. Keep your snotty nose away from me.
COVID.
Get away from me, COVID pig. That sounded really bad. Anyway, so I'm just a dad joking cynic. I did that a couple months ago, I think, or maybe I don't remember. Anyways, I found those items and used them. I think I'll probably change mine up every cast just for some fun stuff. But currently, that's what I am because, well, I do like myself some good dad jokes. That's for sure. So, Sean, what have you been playing in the video game world?
After the last cast, I tried the Snowboys thing, which worked. The 10 paths leading up to it. So because I go out and do that every day, I've been doing other stuff. So I think in the Discord you saw I dropped the codes for the rug for the dock area that I put the kids' tent on. I'm part of a massive UK Animal Crossing Facebook group, and there's a lot of people on there that are like sharing really good designs and stuff like that. So I'm starting to kind of really personalize the island now, where before I kind of didn't use the design creator thing at all.
Sure.
So which is quite weird. For 12 months I've barely used it other than for like posters and stuff in the house, things like that. So now I'm going around and kind of looking at different paths and things like that I'm going to put down. I've got a woodland area that I kind of want to pave to make it look a little bit like the Lost Woods from A Link to the Past.
Oh, cool. That'd be really cool.
It's just upside down because I know in A Link to the Past you walk up into the woods. This one you kind of walk down, but I kind of got the same sort of size looking clearing and trying to get a big rock to put in the middle, and then so. But it's currently where all my snowboys end up. I roll them into that area, because it's perfectly sized that I can get a 10 path without causing much of a mess to the rest of the island. The other thing I've been playing, and I was just talking to Nick about this before, is Call of Duty Warzone is taking up so much of my gaming time at the moment. I seem to be getting a lot better at it, which I should be because I put quite a lot of time into it. I was playing it a bit last night. I went on and thought, I'll just have half an hour, few matches. Well, because Lindsay's watching How to Get Away with Murder on Netflix at the moment. So I'm not into that.
And you're just murdering people online.
Yeah. And there's different events in there now, so you can just play the bog standard map. You can play that as quads, trios, duos, or solo. They've now made a new island called I think it's called Rebirth Island. Or I might be wrong with that, which probably somebody out there will probably correct me. But I was playing trios on that last night, and with two random guys, we came second, and I was the only member of the team left, and it was hectic. There was just people all over the place. So for the team to come second and I took the headset off afterwards because kind of like it was an intense. So I took the headset off and kind of sat there for a second, and then like turned around, and Lindsay's there with like saucepans for eyes, looking at me. She's like, "You were breathing so heavy." And I'm like, "Really?" She's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, just taking like a check of myself, and I could feel my heartbeat. And I looked at my watch, and it's like doing 130 beats a minute, and I'm like, "Oh man, that's crazy. Why
you got a serious cardio workout."
But yeah, it was. Yeah, didn't realize it gets like. Because the headset I've got on, it kind of like there's no external noise, and it's all Dolby 7.1, and so like the realism starts to come in with the noise and stuff like that. But yeah, obviously it kind of triggered off the fight or flight side of.
Apparently, that's awesome. You started a TikTok, is that right? Are you doing like a gaming account TikTok thing?
I have. I didn't capture anything last night, which is annoying because. I think I disabled the automatic capture function a couple of weeks ago. So any like main massive events on the Xbox, some like for achievements or I don't know what else it does it for, but yeah, it automatically starts to capture 30 seconds of video.
Oh, that's cool.
I disabled that, and I wish I hadn't. Because now it's like it's slowed down the amount of stuff that I've got to physically hit the home button, hit X, and then it should record it. But kind of like when you're in the moment, I kind of forget. So, but yeah, I started a TikTok. It's currently under my own personal handle. I'm looking at. I don't know how to use that platform brilliantly just yet, so I don't know if I can have like multiple accounts, but yeah, still waiting for our internet. Once we get fiber, I'll be doing live streams of playing it on Twitch.
That's awesome. I'm pretty pumped about this. I can't wait till you get this so you can start doing it. I know you were bummed because you had plans like when we started Dad Crossing that you just couldn't come to true fruition because you didn't have the internet to do it. So yeah, I'm cool to see your streams.
Literally 3 days, and I'll have the power.
The power of fiber. sounds like a serial tagline. The power of fiber. Go eat your Wheaties. So what
about you, Nick? Have you played anything?
Well, I was going to ask you because I'm playing Immortals still because I cannot play an open world game fast like some people. I wish I could, but I suck at it. So are you still playing Immortals or have you? I mean, apparently not. Did you drop it or what happened?
I haven't dropped it completely. I've got stuck.
Oh, really?
I don't know if I've got the difficulty setting too hard, but it's taken a lot of grinding to get anything done. So I started out with Aphrodite, and I did the small task of getting her the rolling the pearl into the water, blah blah blah, getting her the foam of the sea. But the legendary and the hard enemies, I just can't seem to defeat them. So I don't know if I've got the difficulty too high or so I'm spending a lot of time going around and doing all the remedial parts for all the different gods to get all the basically just for collecting stuff, collecting the XP points, collecting as ambrosia crystals.
For health and stuff.
To try and beef up my attacks.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it's taking a lot of time.
Yeah, see, I get sucked into that stuff. So I'm actually on the flip side of that. So I pretty much did everything in the Golden Isle. Like I opened up all the chests, did all the epic chests, the guarded chests. I mean, at least all the ones I could find. Like I'm not using a map, or I'm not using like a guide or anything. I just use Farsight a lot to see what I can find. And so I pretty much did all those, and then I just kind of cleaned out the War's Den, which is the one that's kind of to the right of the Golden Isle, where the Hall of Gods is.
Yes, the Achilles.
Ares. Yeah. And so I've done everything in that one now. I've got all his blessings, and I actually just went to the Hall of Gods last night, and I have upgraded my axe to the highest level. And I will say, so here's the one thing I'll say about this game. Everybody hates breaking weapons. Like I don't know if everybody does, but it's a big complaint. If there's one complaint in Breath of the Wild, it's the one you get. I'm like, I hate that I have all these weapons and they break and blah, blah. But it is very hard to not find a way to spam weapons when none break, right? So like all I'm using is an axe. I have in the query of things I can use, a sword, an axe, a bow, like 5 different god powers, and then a whole bunch of different smaller things that you can do. All I'm using is an axe, and I can't think of what it's called now. The one where the arrows come up out of the ground.
I've not got that one yet. Is that
okay.
one of the god powers?
Yeah, one of the god powers. So I use the axe and that, and if I use those two, I'm golden, because you can start chaining the axes together, and when you feel like you're about to get overrun or someone, as long as you don't get hit, your axe hits start to stack on top of each other, and it gets more and more powerful. And then when you feel like somebody's about to, and you're getting the stun from the axe too, so that's helping you as well. And that's why I use the arrow, because when somebody comes at me and I feel like I'm about to be in trouble or get hit, I use the god power of the arrow, and that has amazing amount of stun. And so it usually will put, if it doesn't put them out, it at least makes them stop for a second if it doesn't fill their stun bar. And so like I was fighting, I won't say their name because I don't want to give away anything, but I was fighting this one enemy, and I got to 110 chained combo attacks and had yet to been hit. And I mean, I was doing crazy amount of damage. And so it's fun, but it is kind of like, there's this whole other weapon that I'm just like, I don't even touch. Like, I never touch the sword. I haven't done any of I think this sword's at like level 4, because that's when I realized, and I think it goes up to like 8. By the time the sword got to level 4, I realized, I don't use this, so I'm not going to even upgrade it anymore. So I'm only upgrading the axe, which is now completely upgraded, and armor now is all I need to upgrade. And so I think for me, the game will start to play quicker, because I'm almost done getting the side chests and everything.
So I like the sword because you can volley. So if you hold down the sword attack, volley the enemy into the air, then start a chain with the sword. And then just as you go to not use the last strike of the sword chain, switch to the axe, start the axe chain, and then hold the axe button. And then that hammers them into the floor. And it kind of that's basically the combo I use.
Yeah, see, it's really interesting where I've just been like, you know what? And sometimes it does get me in a perilous position because the axe is so slow. And so I'll get into a point to where I'm like, oh man, I'm in trouble, especially if they start moving really quick. The first legendary, the legendary guy in the Golden Isle, he's so fast. And I was only using the axe that it was very difficult. That's when I started to learn. At that point, I was only using the axe, and that's when I started to bring in the arrows from the ground and the god power, and that really kind of that helped me get the edge over him. But so there is some strategy, but there also is some ability to spam those weapons, I think. And I don't know, maybe it's not spamming. It's just, however, like we just talked about 2 different strategies. But I will say, I'm still having a lot of fun with that game.
See, I like the broken weapon, being able to break weapons. especially because Breath of the Wild being as vast as it was for a Zelda game, it was very survival based.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, any survival based game, you need to have breakable weapons. So any zombie like horror style survival game I've ever played, you have breakable weapons, and it makes you choose your actions carefully. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it didn't bother me. I just hear a lot of people talk about it. I mean, I remember one of my favorite memories in Breath of the Wild is when I first get out of the cave and I dove into the water and I found this like really cool sword, and I was like, it wasn't really cool in hindsight, right? Like it was pretty. It wasn't like I felt like I found something super that nobody had ever found. It really wasn't. Yeah, yeah. And so I bring it out, and I'm like hacking people up. I'm like, this is the coolest thing, and then it just breaks on me, and I'm like in total tears. Like, no, that was my soul. Now I'm back to a stick.
Yeah, the one thing I accidentally used to do on Breath of the Wild is shield surf with high powered shields. Completely forget that I had them like equipped, and be surfing my way down this mountain, and then like the shield would break, and I'd be like,
what have I done?
Yeah.
Oh, and I could talk about Breath of the Wild forever. I am still playing Among Us with friends. So the last Saturday we played from like 9:30 to 1 in the morning. I don't even know how we did it. It was a ridiculous amount of time that we played this game. But
there's no XPL level up system to that game either. So you are basically playing for the fact of playing.
Yeah, no, that's the crazy part. Like we're not gaining anything by playing. It was just we were just having a great time chatting and just kind of hanging out. It has been a real godsend for where I'm still in quarantine for having COVID. So I think everybody knew that. Maybe they didn't know that I had it. Maybe they only knew that my wife had it. Anyways, I have it too. The symptoms are not that bad for me. I mean, I'm not downplaying COVID. I am blessed to have low symptoms to really none. So I understand COVID can be serious for some people. I am blessed that it isn't for me. So I've been in quarantine. I haven't really been able to hang out with friends or anything like that. And so, Among Us has been a good way to be able to hang out with those peeps. I'm teaching 2 kids because they can't go to school because obviously, we have COVID. So, the other thing we've been doing, my son has gotten into playing Smash. For any of you who don't know, I bought Smash thinking that maybe this would be the one. It's not the one. I'm just not really a Smash fan, but it has been fun playing with Noah, and even Ariel gets in there. And because we all really have no idea what we're doing, it's a good time. We just kind of play the stock battles and smash around, and we're unlocking characters slow but sure. A lot of times they beat us, but it's been fun. So that's what I've been doing.
Yeah. On the forefront of COVID, it's closed everything again here. We're in a full UK lockdown of only kids that are allowed to go back to school, critical workers and things like that, which fortunately, because Lindsay's now teaching at college and I work in the electrical industry, we're both key workers. So Logan's still going to nursery. My daughter, Emily's still going to school, apart from her bubbles collapsed. So she's now not going to school, but she's having to self-isolate with her mum. But Jaya's back to home learning. So she kind of, where I'm sat now is where her school kind of sits. So if you want to talk about what we've been doing parenting-wise, I bought a corner desk that's on its way. I need to build that. I bought Jaya a chair and then kind of thought I need to make this space really nice for working. So she's got color changing LED, all voice controlled strip lights for around this desk that's come in, and
that's awesome.
Yeah. So we're trying to make her, because we've got a feeling this is going to last a while, and she's supposed to be doing her mock exams for like the GCSEs, which she now can't do. So she's a bit gutted about that. So we're trying to make that space that she works in a little bit more comfortable and hopefully cheer her up because she's been a bit blue about it. So
Sure.
But yeah, it's back to Lindsay's taking her grandparents tomorrow, I think, for their COVID shots. But yeah, back to not being able to see my parents properly. It's rubbish. I want it to be over.
Yeah, amen to that. So you guys are getting vaccines tomorrow? Or somebody is?
We're not. Lindsay's grandparents are. So they're both in their 80s. Both in their 80s. So they kind of in that first queue.
Yeah. We're not at health workers were first, at least I think in America, but at least in our county, I know for sure. So I don't think we have them. I know they started last week vaccinating them. I think I was on a webinar about it, and I think they said that in the next week or two, they're hoping to have everybody done. I know I've said this before. It's really funny. Pfizer, the vaccine is made 45 minutes from me, but we're getting the Moderna one because there is, as ironic as it is, there isn't an actual refrigerator in our county that can handle the Pfizer vaccine. So they're getting shipped everywhere else, and we're getting the Moderna one, which I don't really care. I don't know any difference about it, but it's just kind of ironic.
Yeah. I think the figures for the UK there's 26 million vaccines given to 23 million people so far, which is a lot.
Yeah.
Since they've been doing a very good job.
Yeah.
Getting that done. So
yeah, that's great. Hopefully we can get it done and get it over with, and be able to see people and get in groups and not get COVID.
I know it's a family-friendly podcast, but I literally cannot wait to be able to stand in a pub with all the lads and have a beer. I haven't done that in nearly 12 months. It's driving me mad.
Amen. No, I mean, whatever you want to do, go to a concert. My wife and I were just talking about, we go to Olive Garden once every 2 months normally. It's like a date thing because we just love Olive Garden. I know it's not the best Italian restaurant in the world. You don't have to tell me that. I get it. But for whatever reason, we will just shove ourselves with breadsticks and a plethora of carbs and then come home and just crash. Because that's a good date for us. But we haven't been able to really do that. I mean, we could order it out, but it's just not the same. We did it once and it was super expensive, and I don't know. It just wasn't worth it.
Yeah, we got some meal vouchers for local restaurants around us that we enjoy, and we were actually discussing it. They're doing a takeaway service, but it's the getting dressed up, the going out, sitting in the setting.
Yeah,
So we're the same.
Yeah,
so we're excited for that as well. So,
yeah.
When you mentioned Olive Garden, the only link I have to Olive Garden is from the Sonic movie.
Oh yeah. Do you guys have them over there? I have no idea. Do you guys have Olive Gardens?
I don't think we do.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Only in America can you pile yourself full of unlimited pasta and then go home. Welcome to America. Hey, on that note, why don't we talk about some Isabel morning announcements? All right, Isabel's morning announcements. We have Pave Day. I just wanted to chat about it a little bit. We had gotten word that that's going to be the next thing. In New Leaf and everything, I looked it up just out of interest to get a feel. That doesn't come until February or March, depending on which entry. City Folk was the first one that ever had it, and that was in March. In New Leaf, it's in middle of February. So we could be a while out for that.
Yeah, it's been pretty dry. Like we were just discussing in a little break. Yeah, it's since Toy Day, it's going to be just quiet.
Yeah,
Nintendo haven't released anything. I mean, the only videos they've released on YouTube is a New Year's resolution thing, which was actually quite cute because it was they described getting to know your islanders better and things like that, and which I thought was pretty good. But yeah, it's kind of I'm making snowmen daily, getting the DIYs and snowflakes finally. But
Yeah.
not much has changed on the island. I've lost the Christmas lights disappeared January the 6th. So
That was sad.
yeah, Isabel's last job for 2020 into 2021.
They really should have Isabel out there for like a day, just like with a box with like lights just like all over, just taking it out with like that little like the blue circles over their head when they're angry.
Yeah.
She's just like goes from tree to tree for one day, just like totally angry. She won't talk to you or anything. That'd be
just occasionally find her sat down wrapped up in lights.
That would be so good. I mean, now that's real life right there, right? Like you're just like, I gotta take this crap down now. Merry Christmas to somebody. That would be fantastic. So yeah, I tweeted out, I was like, "Do you think we'll hear about Pave Day this week?" And then I was like interested. I was like, I wonder when it has been. So when I looked that up, we probably will hear about Pave Day for a couple of weeks, I would imagine. I mean, if it's not going to be, if the earliest is mid-February, they're not going to break anything out anytime soon for it. That would be a little too early. And I have a feeling I'm
going to say,
go ahead.
You'll probably wake up later after this and be like, they dropped a video.
I don't think it'll be tomorrow because they have already pumped out that they are super excited for 3D World and Bowser's Bowser's Fury or whatever it is. So they're gonna be I think pushing that for at least this week. I would think, but like you said, they'll make me a liar and then we'll figure out how we're gonna cover it. That's how that works.
As always.
The second thing I wanted to touch on real quick, the golden shovel. I had said previously in I think a cast or two ago that I thought Gullivar counted towards your golden shovel count because I thought that it did, but it doesn't. So it counts towards the Nook Mile achievement of helping Gulliver, but Gullivar does not count towards your golden shovel. You have to help Gulliver 30 times, and so I don't know. I'm probably months away from it at this point.
Sweet. See, somebody that's got 1,055 hours or 44 days into the game.
Real jerk.
I thought by
I love
now,
you.
I thought by now you'd have helped Gulliver that many times. Because is once every other week?
Yeah, like normally, like once every other week. And what are we at? We're at
nearly 52 weeks of the game, so
not nearly 52. It hasn't even been. We're at 52 would be a month or a year. So I don't know. This math is beyond me. Somebody has to math for me.
March 18th.
I remember it was like March 20th. So I mean, really, March was over. So like April, May, June, July, August, September, October. This is great. This is great cast stuff, by the way. October, November, December. As I count on my hands, people, I'm counting on my hands. So that is nine months. And if you get them twice a month, which is probably pretty accurate, that's like 18 times.
Yeah. Oh, fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Sorry, it's just 2020 seemed like it just went on forever. So
I should have helped that damn whoops. I should have helped that bird like 100 times by now. That's what it feels like I did. So yeah, so I'm probably months away from the golden shovel at this point. A good 5, I would say. But on that note, what I'm not months away from, but only 2 days, is 300 active resident days I've played since the very beginning. And in 2 days, I will get my last Nook Mile stamp that I have played Animal Crossing for 300 days.
300 consecutive days.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Or just 300 days until.
No, it's just active. So like you can still get it. You don't have to play consecutively. But I mean, I have, but you don't have to. It's just whenever you have been active on Animal Crossing for 300 days, you'll get that stamp. So it's not consecutive. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. That'll be the last one I'll be interested. I will use the words, whatever I get from that one, I will use at least one of those words in whatever my title will be for the next cast. That I promise you. That I'll do. Our first top 10, Sean. Top 10 Animal Crossing moments of 2020.
See, this was really difficult because I came into playing Animal Crossing as a complete rookie. There was no way around it. I'd never played. I tried to get into playing New Leaf on the DS and was like, when we first started discussing this podcast, and because I genuinely had some interest in the game because I wanted to play it. I'd seen that there was a whole entire community out there that was absolutely played Animal Crossing like you have, Nick, where you've gone through every single one, you've poured hours into it, and I was like, how can people do that? So I had like this genuine interest into like, why is this game so good? And so tried to play New Leaf, and I don't know if it was because it was on a small handheld thing that I was like, wow, I might have bitten off more than I can chew trying to get into a complete new genre of game. And but I persevered because the new game was coming out, and I enjoyed chatting with you and Dan about it, and like the idea of doing the podcast and so on. And then New Horizon came out, and the first out of my top 10 is literally falling in love with Animal Crossing.
That's awesome. It was fun to watch too. Can I tell you that? It was fun to watch.
So it's great. There's people that like in real life, the like guys at work that kind of ask, why do you do a podcast about a kid's game? And I'm like, it is a kid's game, but it's more than that. It's been great. It's been a good year to have a game that you can focus on like this. It definitely helped with the first lockdown. But yeah, it's great. It's very relaxed. You can play at your own pace. I mean, the Facebook group that I'm part of, I think there must be at least 2 posts a day on there. People saying, "Oh, I've just picked up the game. I'm a new starter. Any hints and tips?" And everybody's like, "Oh, here, come to my island, and you can have all these bells, and I'll give you all these DIYs, and I'll make these tools for you." And I'm like, every single time I see that, I'm like, "No, you're ruining the game for them. Just stop." And like, I literally just take your time, play it slowly, really enjoy it. You can race to the end and kind of burn out with the game pretty quick.
Yeah, you only get to do it once, right? I mean, you can do it as many times as you want, but you only get to do it fresh once. Like, so you might as well just enjoy that experience. I totally, it makes sense. The gamer in all of us makes us want to get to the end, but like, it's just so much not about the end. Like that's not at all what it's about. So, for me, mine was because I have played them all except for New Leaf. I'm with you, Sean. I played New Leaf, and I know this is definitely a controversial opinion. I just couldn't get into the 3DS version of Animal Crossing. And I know there's a lot of people out there that say that that's the baby. That's the one that's better than New Horizons, that's missing, you know, that New Horizons is missing so much stuff, but I just couldn't get into that one. And so I bought a 3DS to play Animal Crossing, played it for a day, and I returned it. I just couldn't get into it. And so coming back to my beloved franchise after so very long, you know, I open up New Horizons now and I don't even think about it, but man, when I think back to that midnight stream of like my first time like getting my plane ticket and getting onto my island, that was a magical moment. That was a ton of fun. So that's my top one. What do you got next for us?
It's getting Lindsay involved. So I think the game must have been out 4 weeks, and she'd seen how much I was playing it and how much I was enjoying it, and kind of like felt sorry for her because it was kind of like, oh, look, I can do this, and every 2 minutes. But then like she kind of cracked and gave in, bought her own Switch, bought the game, and then hit the game harder than I did.
She did. She was in it, man. Yeah.
So that was good. It was nice because she doesn't play a lot of video games. She tells me she used to when she was little. She was into Crash Bandicoot and things like that. But I can't get her into anything modern. I say modern, anything that I play.
Sure.
So Excuse me. It was good to do that and actually share some video gaming experience with the wife, other than playing Mario Kart or Mario Party with the kids.
Sure.
So that was nice, jumping on each other's island. I got a lot of photos that, like, in screenshots that I took of us doing silly romantic things on.
I remember those. Those are awesome.
So,
yeah, it was cool.
And that was fun. That was one of my top 10. It was a nice moment to share.
Yeah, so showing mine's similar, but just showing this game to so many new people. I mean, on Discord, there are so many people who have been playing for the first time. My son, my daughter, a good friend of mine who picked it up, wasn't sure if he was going to, because wasn't certain if the family would really get into it, and now they have an island with everybody on it. And so just showing this game to so many people. It's just the thing that I love to be able to share it. Has been an amazing thing for me. So that would be my number 2.
I think we both share, just looking at the doc, I've been quite cheeky and looking at your list as well as mine. I think starting the podcast. So podcasting is always something that, well, not podcasting as such, but streaming and content creating is something that I kind of wanted to do for a while. For somebody that doesn't like the sound of their own voice or to talk for any great deal of length, I kind of wanted to start creating content to kind of break that mold a little bit. So I think I was really excited when the Nintendo Dads kind of invited me on as for my spot as...
You were a Patreon producer.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was good. I kind of did that with them, realized that I enjoyed it and that I wanted to get into it a bit more. So I bought the mic, trying to figure out a way around it. And then you got in touch and I was like,
yeah,
yay. And somebody actually wants me to do something in this case. So, and then all the chat between me and you and Dan, because it kind of, like, for anybody that's listened to this, and listened to us from the start, it kind of went from not having an Animal Crossing podcast to boom, it was all I talked about and did. And
yeah,
there was a lot of preamble to that. So, like, the messages between me, you and Dan, and the first Zoom meeting we had where we didn't really record anything, we just sort of like chatted about what we had, the ideas, and yeah, it's good. It was nice to make friends with two guys that are so far away from me, and then you two are a distance from each other. But yeah, to have friends in different parts of the world, it's been really good.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's for sure. Yeah, I remember you. I was listening to the dads, and I had reached out to Justin and said, hey, I would really like to do this, and Justin was like, great, we'll be happy to support you, but you got to find the people. And I was like, oh, okay, sure. And so I was a little like, I don't know. And I remember thinking, hey, he's cool. And then you had said something like, yeah, I'd love to do this again, or this, I'd love to do this, or you said something about like you'd want to continue the podcast. And I was like, well, I don't know if he likes Animal Crossing, but I'm gonna see, because maybe he will. And so yeah, that was pretty awesome. I remember being so stoked about the Animal Crossing Direct. It was going to be our first real recording meeting. We had done one that we posted, but it was just like a test that we posted out. But this was going to be like the first real one after the Direct. And so you'll never forget the Direct and the fact that I watched the Direct. My wife was, remember, we were not in pandemic time yet. So my wife was actually at a conference in Indy. At that point, it was like middle January, I want to say. So my wife was at a conference in Indy, and the Direct happened. I was taking care of the kiddos. My daughter had a doctor's appointment, which we were like somewhat concerned about, but I didn't really think it was a big deal. I was like, okay, we'll take her, and they'll give us something to help out with the situation. That'll be it. we take her to the doctor, and he's like, yeah, he's like, well, that's fixable. It's not really a big worry. We'll get her into surgery. And I was like, what? And I was like, so like in a week or something? And he's like, no, like later today. And I remember like texting you guys being like, I felt like so bad because I was like, this is our first real commitment that I agreed to do, and I like can't do it. I'm like, I'm sorry, guys, my daughter's going into surgery. And so like we drove up to a larger hospital about an hour away, and it was just like an outpatient thing. It wasn't like life threatening or anything, but it was just how abrupt it was and how quick it was that I had no idea it was coming, and it was there. And so then you guys moved everything to midnight so that I could still be part of it, because we were going to do it at like noon or something. And so, yeah, I will just never forget that direct and all that went around that first recording and the whole thing. It was just crazy. So, yeah.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good way. It was a good start. And
yeah.
We've only ever been accommodating. So yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Oh. I think the next one on my list is getting the first 5-star rating. So, because I worked very hard to get that.
You did, and you were first, I think. You beat me, if I remember correctly. You were the first one to 5 stars. I'm pretty sure that's true.
No, I think you had the golden watering can before me.
I have to go back and look, but I thought you beat me by like a week or something like that. For me, the swap meets were big. That would be my next one on my list. I really enjoyed doing those. Back, you hosted a couple, I hosted a couple. There was a lot of fun. Those were good times.
Yeah, I'm going to say I modeled an entire section of my island for fun.
Yep, you did. It was pretty sweet too.
But then my next one on the list is going from the 5-star rating. My island now has a 1-star rating.
Is it weed filled? Is that why, or what is it?
Yes, it is. The campsite's purposely got a lot of weeds around it, and I don't want to change that. So, but I think I might have to. I'm going to look at some designs. Basically, I'm going to try and use the design tool because, yeah. Well, I don't know, because there's no, other than getting the flowers, there's no real thing to not having a 5-star island. It hasn't changed the way the game plays, and the island looks nice. So.
Yeah, it's something you gotta make for yourself, like whether or not you want it. I go from 4 to 5 stars whenever I decide to pick up my DIY recipes on the ground that I just kind of throw over there for people to look at. But yeah. I think I'm gonna stop doing that, because nobody, like, unless they're super important, like unless there's something for like Christmas or something from a balloon that's more rare. Like most people, when I call them over, they're like, yeah, we have all these. And so, which that makes sense. I mean, we just kind of have a core group that have been playing for a while. So I'll probably pick those up. But yeah, 5-star, once you get it, it's like, well, okay, I can keep it or lose it. It's not a big deal.
I think I managed to keep it for about 3 months. And then
that's pretty good.
Yeah, it came with the rebuild of my island. Obviously, having to move everything around, get rid of trees, get rid of shrubs, get rid of plants, get rid of everything basically, and move everything around. It kind of drops down to 1 star, and then I've not kind of planted. I've got flowers. They're outside each person has a different set of flowers outside the house and stuff like that. But yeah, it's just I'm making the island how I'd like it to be now, not tailored for the 5 stars. So, which is quite nice, because it's one of those where a lot of people like in the community on Facebook are pushing like, oh, how do you get 5 stars? I want 5 stars, and people are saying, oh, I've had 5 stars since I could get terraforming and blah, blah, blah. And it's just like that's great, but yeah.
So it's all about whatever it is to you. That's what it is. That's what makes Animal Crossing awesome. AC Olympics. I was really bummed. We only did one of these, but the one we did was a lot of fun. I would have loved to have done a couple more. But it was just kind of, I don't know, we just never really got them scheduled and trying to figure out what to do. So, but the one we did was a lot of fun. And so, yeah, that would be my next one.
Yeah. My next one's New Year's at your island.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I saw that and I was like, yep, I did what Sean said.
So for those that know, and I don't know if people who I work with listen to this, but I took my Switch into work and I did my own island for like the 5 minutes that I could get on at midnight because I was quite busy. But then at like 3 o'clock in the 5 o'clock-ish in the morning, went back on and spent New Year's with Nick's family on Nick's island.
Yeah,
so
you did. It was so much fun. It was great. I loved it. And for me, it was just because I am quarantined, right? We were quarantined then too. My wife had it at that point. It was just fun. I mean, we couldn't be at a family's house or at a party or anything like that, and so it was just time to be able to at least celebrate New Year's with somebody. And so, and to be honest, like my wife and I turned on the whatever the popular New Year's event is wherever. And I was like, I don't really care. Like, I'm just listening to some people sing and chat and do dumb. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna hang out at Animal Crossing. If you want to watch this, you watch it. I'm just gonna do it. And she was like, no, I don't either. So yeah, I don't know. It was a good time.
They did a really good job with the fireworks. I mean, it was a really good.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's for sure.
So,
what do you got? What's next?
You've got the same as me. Basically, Chad's Black Friday event, but a lot of our community events that other people have done have been great. So, it's I think it comes back to the whole of the community thing where different people have done different stuff. Solo opened up and did everybody's to come and collect the Christmas DIYs early.
Yeah,
our resident time traveler helped out everybody, which is good. But yeah, it's things like that. It's how the community reacts to different things and helps everybody out. I think that's kind of what that goes to.
Yeah, it's awesome. I'm gonna so I put Terraform, but I'm actually gonna change this one because I had thought about this as we started to go down this list. My daughter she had it wasn't COVID related, but she had a fever, and because of all that, and of course we didn't know, and blah blah blah. We couldn't do anything. It was her birthday's in June, and she got a fever. Let me start back. Her birthday's in June. She got a fever. And so we couldn't really do anything. She felt really bad and didn't I don't know, there just wasn't a lot there. And so she was just sitting on the couch and she was like, Dad, can I play Animal Crossing? And you know what? I wasn't even thinking about like what day it was and what would happen. And I was like, sure. And so I got the Switch out for her and I set it on her lap. And it was like a little bright spot in a very not the greatest birthday, I mean, there just wasn't a lot to do. There wasn't a lot we could do. She didn't feel like doing a lot. And then she opened up the Switch. One, I had forgotten what was about to happen. And two, she didn't know. And so she opens up the Switch and people are like, hey, her animals are like, it's your birthday. And so, she's like, whoa, look at this. Everybody's dancing around me, and it was a really great moment for her to just have a little bright spot in a not so great birthday. So that's my next.
That's a good one. It is a really good, actually, because I went on. I liked the event for the birthday, so I can imagine being really little if you're not feeling very well. That just anybody celebrating to that extent of your birthday is probably really nice. So.
Yeah, it really was, and she had no idea it was coming, and I had just spaced it. I hadn't spaced what she was about to experience, and so she was just like blowing away, and so it was a good time.
The other thing, the next one is remaking your island. It's hard. Well, it took me 2 weeks without time traveling, and then I got really frustrated. So time travel for the last 2 or 3 days, just to move the inclines around because it was yeah, it was that I was waiting for, and it was making it difficult to get around my island. So, but yeah, the whole island remake was fun. I moved all the villages to the right place. I think I recently updated my dream address, so I need to post that into the Discord so people can pop across and have a look.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was fun to do. Time consuming and expensive. So
Very expensive.
Being the ultimate stockholder, I went from like 13.5 million bells to I'm now at 8.5 million. So,
yep.
And they're very expensive.
For sure. For me, I think I kind of mentioned this already, but my midnight stream, when I first opened up New Horizons, back in the day when I thought I was going to be streaming it a lot more, and then quarantine happened and kids and they were all locked down and I had to teach them and blah blah blah. But that first stream was a ton of fun. We had a bunch of people up there and we were all kind of experiencing it on what was going to be my island for the first time. So that was a lot of
fun. Pitfall Traps. I've had a lot of fun with those. I've had I didn't realize what the Pitfall Seas were for because they were in New Leaf. And I didn't really understand what they were for, but getting them in New Horizons has been funny. The amount of island, I think I've managed to trap 4 of my islanders together.
That's awesome.
Just sat there, watched them for a little bit, and I thought this is really funny. And then
I love it. Yeah, pitfalls are great. Next one for me, getting all the bugs and fish. That was a recent accomplishment last month that I did. No time travel or anything like that. I just persevered through it all and waited until it came and got all the fish, and all the bugs. So that's my last one. What's your last one, Sean?
The monthly mayhem that we did that was Animal Crossing related was good fun. It was good to see the imagination with everybody in our community for the different areas of their island. I know Dan spent a long time on that pirate ship.
He did, man.
So
he kept negotiating with Drew and John about what he could do, how many shots he could take, how he could make it out. I remember that. And he won. He was gonna make sure he won that sucker.
Sure. So definitely. So that was good. It was the people, the level of commitment and the level of imagination of people in the community was brilliant.
So we got some community responses too. I'll read this first one if I can get to it. This is from the Two-Handed Sip of Water on Twitter. At Two-Handed Water. He said his favorite AC moment, our Denver Retro Gaming Group got together in the game, and one of our members had replicated our shirt design. So we all got it from him in his town and then got together for a pic. It was still early on, but so much fun. And they did a really good, there's a picture on our Twitter that he posted of it, and they did a really good picture. It looks a lot like where in the AC Direct where there were all the people and they shot off the poppers. I mean, there's a really well done picture, but they had to really work on that sucker. So it's cool. And one guy has a black rose in his mouth, which I think is pretty awesome. So yeah, it's really cool. You know what I just realized, Sean, that we never put as a top moment. Now that I think about a group getting together.
The Nintendo Dads podcast.
Yeah. How did we never? How did neither one of us think about that?
That took some organizing as well. That took some serious organization.
That did. Oh man, we crafted, and I still have it down in my basement. We crafted that podcast room for like ever. But that's really funny. I don't know why that never, because I loved that experience. That was great. No offense, Nintendo Dads, we love you. I don't know why it didn't come to mind at the time. I think
it's because we did. I think it's because it was under their podcast. They kind of came to your island and kind of came into our world to do their podcast. So it kind of yeah, it
was really weird. I remember us talking like, is this a Nintendo Dad or a Dad Crossing podcast? Like, what is it? What are some of the other community responses?
Frosticles dropped one that his top moment in Animal Crossing was overcoming his fear of terraforming. When we had him as a guest on the podcast, he was really like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to get started. I don't know, I haven't really got much imagination for it. And then he overcame that. And yeah, that guy's island still, even to this day, his museum layout and everything like that is pretty amazing. So yeah.
Yeah, he knocked it out of the park.
He did. And then I think the last one that came was from Solo Something. And this is, I think it's in two parts, is this. Top Animal Crossing moments for me were when the family all got into it with him.
It's Spider Shot, just not to interrupt you, but I'll make sure. Spider Shot. Yep. So go for it, sorry.
Yeah, I forgot to put the name next to the... So... Yeah, just about how his family got into the game. And then when he first started, how we'd answer all his questions and help him. So I guess it's all about, for him, it's been all about the community and the bonding through the game with the family. And then just things like we've already said, like he's like enjoyed celebrating his birthday, decorating his house, and like all the different events for the islands, apart from catching DIYs and balloons, which I think everybody over the last 6 weeks has absolutely despised.
Yes, 100% for sure. Can't agree anymore.
So yeah, I think that concludes our first top 10.
Yeah, the first one's done, and now we are on to the dad life.
So welcome back and welcome to the Dad Corner. We're going to jump straight in with a top 10 list of our top moments as dads. Not dads as in Dad's Crossing, not dads as in being part of the Nintendo dads, but dads as in basically being fathers. Exactly. Our favourite moments. So, which when I came to try and do a list of, there wasn't that many. I probably have a lot more, but as we start to go through these things, it's like with the Nintendo Dads podcast list for the Animal Crossing, it'll probably just like the penny will drop and I'll be like, oh yeah, and there's this, and oh yeah, there's this. But like ones where I have to really sit and think about proud moments.
Your kids don't listen to this, do they? Yeah. Listen, I don't have 10 proud moments of these kids, okay? Come on.
So, but no, I think my top one is, which sounds very wrong, but I met my eldest daughter, Jaya. I met her when she was just before her 8th birthday is when I met her mum. So obviously there was the whole courting ritual between me and Lindsay before she kind of thought that I was safe enough to have around her daughter because, kids are precious. So my first proud moment and trying to make that connection with somebody that, bless her, had been through quite a bit and was probably a little confused at the time, but she's a really strong character, was winning Jaya over with a Minecraft pig. So I got her, the first thing I ever bought, and it was for her birthday, was a little Minecraft stuffed pig because she was really into playing Minecraft on her iPad, and Terraria was the other one, but I didn't know anything about Terraria to what to get. But I knew she liked the pigs in Minecraft because she used to look after them. She used to make little pens for them and things like that. So it's kind of that's like awesome. I bought that, and that's kind of like when Jay really warmed up to me. And then like we used to sit and she used to play Minecraft, sat on my knee with a stuffed pig and show me. And that was kind of like
that's awesome. That's really awesome.
Yeah.
For me, I'm gonna go. We're gonna bob back and forth again. Mine is introducing Noah to Animal Crossing. I mean, Animal Crossing is just it's a big love of mine, and to be able to show Noah Animal Crossing for the first time, and to have him really start to like it too. That was just a cool moment.
I imagine it's also getting him to understand what the game's about and the the level of there is a small level of maturity with a game, because you can just go around and be really reckless, but then to have a bit of ownership about the area that you have and things like the island. But that's been really nice to kind of see him grow up.
Yeah, it really has, and it's been fun to watch him be just like who he's gonna be on the island. And sometimes I'm like, oh my goodness, what are you doing on this island? You know, like there's just stuff.
Have you because when I came to yours for New Year's, he was chasing me around with his net. I was just laughing and running around and chasing. That's Noah, and so like, you know, sometimes you'll go there and there'll just be random stuff on the ground. For a while, he refused to use the bank, even though I showed him how to use it and what buttons to push. And so there's just like 99,000 bags of bells just laying everywhere on his island, because I would always have him come over with whoever had the big money so he was rich, like he had all kinds of money, but he refused to use the bank. So that's like bags of 99,000 bells laying everywhere on his island. So yeah, but that was a great moment this year for me. That's ace. It's like one of those, like an old person that stashes all the money under the mattress.
Yeah. I don't trust those banks.
That's totally the way it was. I mean, it was just like, I was like, Noah, put this in. He's like, I don't want to. It takes too long to get it.
So the next one for me was, because obviously I have a daughter from previous. Lindsay has a daughter from previous. We kind of wanted to have a kid of his own, and it took a while for this to happen, and we kind of questioned abilities to have kids and the stresses that we're in. Lindsay was working a pretty stressful job she was a manager at a care home, and it was taking its toll on her quite a bit. But the day we found out we were pregnant, that was great. I can remember the morning really, really well. Lindsay was literally like setting up to go and teach a course. She was going to be stepping away for 2 days, so she woke me up really early. We did the test, and like we both sat on the bed, and it was like 4 o'clock in the morning because she was having to get on the road at 6. And I was sat there waiting for this test to develop, and we were like, oh, yeah, amazing. We like kind of cried and had a big cuddle about it, and then it was like, right, okay, see you later. You're going away for 2 days.
Man, that's crazy.
But yeah, that was great, and like it's kind of like it's been great ever since, really. As much as Logan is a massive test, he's great.
That's fantastic. Yeah, my wife took 2 tests because she just like totally didn't believe it. And then we went to the doctor, and the doctor was like, well, did you take tests? And she's like, yeah, we took 2. And she was like, well, if I give you another one, it's pretty much the same exact type of thing that you've already done. And I'm like, okay, well, then we're good. My wife's like, no, I want another. And I'm like, okay, but I believe she just said, she's like, no, I want another. I'm like, okay, we'll take another test.
I want it confirming.
Yeah. So yeah. Mine would be, and I told this story once on the cast, but beating Super Mario Brothers 2 with my daughter Ariel. She's becoming quite the gamer for sure. But that's kind of come about this year. And so I was journeying through all the Marios with Noah. Noah started to play Super Mario Brothers 2 and absolutely just like rage quit the game. Like he just couldn't figure out the turn-ups and the whole thing. And I don't think he liked the aesthetic, and it just wasn't Mario to him, which I think we can all understand. And so he was like, I'm done.
Mario game.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah. And so he's like, I'm done. And so he just got up and walked away. And I was like, and my daughter came into the room, and she was like, where's Noah? And I was like, Noah's not playing. And she was like, well, can I play? And I was sure. And so I was like, if you want. And so like, she'd just fall off the edge, and then basically I'd take over and play my game. But we took turns the entire time. And so we beat Super Mario Brothers 2 together. So that was pretty fun.
I don't even think I've beaten Super Mario Bros. 2. So
we use save states. I'm not going to lie. We use save states.
It's a hard game, so tip my hat to Ariel. That's quite a good feat. My next one is I get it. It's pregnancy related, but the day we found out that we were going to have a boy, because we both said to each other that like we both got girls. We wanted a boy. We both said that if the time that Lindsay got pregnant that we were having a girl, we'd try it one more time, and then we'd be done, and we'd be a 4-kid household, and it'd be absolutely mental, crazy. Luckily, with how crazy Logan's been, it was a boy. But I remember we had the scan at 20 weeks, and we were sat there, and this sonographer was like, "All right, I can tell you that the sex of the baby if you want. I've seen it. Do you want to see? And we'll show you." And I was like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Just move the device around." And she's like, "Right, there you go. That's you're having a boy." And literally, like, I was overjoyed. But and so relieved at the same time.
Yeah, like, yes, we don't have to do this again.
Just started crying, and like,
awesome.
we were both really psyched. And then like, from there on, it's been ace because it's like, as Jaya's into gaming, but she's very much like me when it comes to it. It's difficult to get her to play a game together. So like, she'll lock herself in her bedroom and she'll play Roblox with her friends, and she'll even play Call of Duty, stuff like that with her friends. It's very difficult for me to get her to say, well, if you're not online with your friends, why don't you go on yours, I'll go on mine, and we'll do some duos on Call of Duty. And she kind of, but Logan's starting to take a really big interest in gaming, and it's like, we'll not use an iPad. For love and money, I cannot get the kid to use an iPad. It just doesn't do it. He's just not interested. iPads are literally just to watch. Yeah, that's it. He doesn't like the idea of the touchscreen, and so very much likes to play. So when it's mainly when I sit and do the snowman on a morning or something like that, he'll sit on my knee and he gets a controller out and sits there with me, and he's like, "Oh, look, Daddy, I'm doing it." And it's so, yeah, having a boy and being able to do that, because the girls weren't as interested, where Logan definitely is. So
That's cool. That's really cool. By the way, I don't know, you have a great kid, because my children are obsessed with iPads. Like, they like the Switch, but like, they're just as happy to be on an iPad. So that's awesome.
Just he's just getting it now, where like, if he's watching something on YouTube and the advert comes up, he knows to wait for the skip ad button and he'll press it, but he just doesn't grasp and I mean, this is a clever kid, like with his numbers and things like that, but he just doesn't grasp the idea of touchscreen. So like, he kind of like wants to kind of press his finger through it because he's waiting for a genuine click from a button. So there's no haptic feedback. He kind of just doesn't get it. So
yeah, it was definitely not knowing when my we finally forced my son to crawl. We knew he could do it, but he just wouldn't do it. We finally forced my son to crawl when I threw my phone across the room with the light, there was like this light thing going on in it, and so I threw it across the room, and he was like, and he was just like, got up and started to crawl. I was like, I knew he could do it. He just needed the right thing. And what would it be but like a phone making noise with some lights? So yep, it was just like, that was it. I talked about this one before, but I will say it again. My journey through the Marios with the 2D Marios and then Mario 3D All Stars. My journey through the Marios with my kiddos, I have enjoyed that immensely this year. That has been a lot of fun, and to just show them that, and just in general. So
yeah, look at how I spent all my childhood.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Look how easy gaming's got now.
Yeah, all those things are very true. Save states, baby. Yep.
No, teaching Jaya to ride a bike was actually an intensely proud moment and a massive like milestone for her, because she just didn't want to do it. I mean, she was 9, maybe 10, which is quite late to learn how to ride a bike. Like, she just had zero interest. She'd happily run around with her friends, but wouldn't cycle anywhere. And it took some doing. It's easy. It's easy to balance a small kid on a small bike with no stabilizers, but you get like a 9-10-year-old on a full-size bike and try and run at full speed while trying to balance somebody. Oh my God, it took some work. But
You got to work out.
Yeah. But yeah, man, it was good. And her actual dad was really impressed because she'd fallen off. And Jay is one of these where if she can't do something straight away, she doesn't want to do it. If she hurts herself while trying something, I don't want to do it. Or if she thinks and perceives that she won't be able to do it, and then not being able to do it, she might get hurt or make a fool of herself. She won't do it. So, yeah, it was a big moment for me because it was kind of like bringing Jaya out of the shell a little bit and also physically getting somebody to ride a bike.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's really
because I then taught Emily, and Emily was really easy because she was so much smaller and kind of like when she fell, she didn't have as far to fall and she kind of bounced a little bit more. But yeah, she kind of like took to riding a bike like a duck to water. She was off. That's it. And now she's on the thing every day if she can.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll keep that in mind. So Noah needs to learn to ride a bike next year. So that'll be the thing. I'll be like, listen, it's going to be harder when you get older. So learn now. He's having trouble with those. He likes riding a bike. He's very hesitant on those training wheels. He's not wanting to get rid of those things at all. So I'm actually going to change my last one because I just thought of this. Noah losing his first two. That happened this year. That was a little bit dramatic for him. He actually has another one he needs to lose. I don't know if your kids were like it's a big deal to Noah. Like he's just like he just doesn't want to. He's like, no, it'll just fall out. And I'm like, it's not. He had like teeth growing behind. He had like adult teeth starting to come behind those teeth. So we like really had and it's not like we could go to a dentist. It was in the midst of a quarantine. So, but they came out. It was slightly traumatic. But we got him out, and that was probably another moment for us.
Jaya was the same. She'd get a wobbly tooth. I can remember as a kid, if I got a wobbly tooth, I was like, this thing's coming out.
Yes,
getting me. Like,
thank you.
I'm getting money for this. Get out of my face.
Yeah.
But like Jaya would hold on to him. She'd be like, it'd be wobbling, and you could see it. Like if she was chewing something, you could see this tooth like just flicking around. It's like, why do you just pull it out? She's like, no. Oh.
Yeah, that's the way Noah is, man. He's got this tooth in the front that I swear is hanging on by like a small piece of skin and nothing else. But he keeps chewing out of the side of his mouth, and I almost just ripped it out. I almost just ripped it out.
Has he got a Nerf gun?
You're not joking, are you?
No,
is this how you took out JSD?
No. I've seen a video of this dad and his kid on. Where was it now? I'll see if I can find it. But he's sat there and he's got this Nerf bullet, and he kind of like ties his piece of string to this Nerf bullet, puts it in the Nerf gun, and then ties the other into the kid's tooth and just fires this bullet. And you just see this tooth go.
That's so hilarious. Okay, I will admit to this though. We were playing Fox and Hens. The kids like to play this too. Is that two of us are the hens and one's the fox. We take turns. Blah, blah. So I was the fox, and I was running with Noah, and he looked back, and I thought, I think I could probably just accidentally swipe his mouth, and I could knock it right out. Like I legit had that thought. Like I could get this tooth out and be like, no, I'm so sorry, I didn't, but it's out now. But I really didn't know it. I really thought about doing it. I don't know how
a lot of Jayas were brushed out. So if like we were going to like help brush her teeth or anything like that and make sure she brushed them properly, like Lindsay would be like, I'm just gonna make sure that you've got some of your dinner stuck in you, and she'd be like, brushing this wobbly tooth until it came out. So
yeah. So something like that's gonna happen. So anyway, that's the top memory.
Emily takes after like us. That tooth, if it's wobbly, she's like, oh look, I've got a wobbly tooth, and she just does not stop playing with it until it's out. So
yeah, that's how I was. So it's really weird to me. But anyways.
Yeah.
I want to know about this next one.
So this happened in the first lockdown. She was really bored, basically, and so and Lindsay kind of said to me, "She says, this is a really good time while Jaya's like not at school and you're at home. Teach Jaya things that you can do, or things that you were interested in doing. I'll just basically teach her life skills." And I was like, oh, okay. So I went into the garage. We came back in the house, and I've got a professional lock picking kit, which when I worked at the previous power station, once we'd shut everything down, we started decommissioning everything. Like 12-hour shifts with no plant to run was getting really boring. So we we'd all come up with an idea on the shift and be like, let's learn how to do this. Let's learn how. So like some guys literally learn how to knit. Full-grown, awesome. Like 50, 60-year-old men learning to knit stuff. I wanted to learn how to pick locks. So we'd get YouTube videos up. I bought a lock picking kit, which came with a practice, like a clear acrylic looking lock that you can see through, so you can see all the pins. And it became, I'm okay. I can't do I wouldn't be able to come and pick your front door because it's a lot harder than the movies make it out to be. Just the way the twin pins, and so there's pins at the top, pins at the bottom, and you've got to keep the pressure on, but not enough, too much. So there's loads of stuff like that. So I came back in the house, and Lindsay's like, "What have you got?" And I was like, "Oh, I've got my lock picking kit." And she looked at me, she was like, "What?" So I went upstairs and sat down on Jaya's bed, and I was like, "Do you want to learn how to pick a lock?" And she looked at me, she's like, "This is the greatest thing in the world." I said, "It's really easy once you figured out what you need to do it." And so yeah, I've taught Jaya to pick, and she can pick the practice lock blindfolded.
That's pretty impressive.
Which is quite impressive. Yeah.
At some point something's going to happen, and Lindsay's going to be like, "Why did you teach her to pick locks? I can just see it."
Well, I offered do you want to learn how to wire up a plug properly? So I'm just I try to think of all the things that as I've gotten older, and I've listened to friends that are from school that are girls and stuff like that, and they're all like, I just get the husband to do that, or I just get my husband to do that. And it's no, it's because they don't know how. So it's like changing an inner tube on your bike. I kind of wanted to do the sensible side of things, but I chose to teach her to pick a lock.
Hey, if that's what she's into, there you go. All right. I do. No, sorry, I don't. Never mind. My bad. I was thinking something else.
I don't think we got any.
No, we didn't.
Community ones.
Not on the dad top 10.
No, but no. I said there's. I can think of there's loads more of just little ones just catchphrases that we've taught Logan. So adios suckers and stuff like that. But yeah. And his first swear word, he said his first swear word yesterday.
Oh no. That's the top 10 for 2021 right there.
Yeah. And it took me by surprise, and I looked at him and I was like, "You just don't say that ever again." He dropped the F-bomb in the back of the car.
Mm-hmm.
So,
for a week's time, there was a kid at church that would say, as ironic as it is, that would say the F word a lot. And so for a week's time, it got stuck in Noah's head. It was really bad. He would say it, and I'd be like, "Noah, you do not say that. Go to your room." And he would get in serious trouble. We were pretty serious about it. And he was just you could tell he was almost frustrated with himself. He didn't want to say it, but I don't know. It was stuck in there somewhere. And so it took a week of serious punishments of losing stuff, being in your room for a long time before he finally lost it. But yeah, it was pretty interesting.
We've got a bit of a strange concept when it comes to the using foul language. I'm okay with the if. Obviously, don't go use it in every sentence because that's just disgusting. It's not. You don't need to use it. The English language is a fantastic thing, and you don't need. But to use it where appropriate is okay. And I can remember the first time Jaya ever swore. And I don't know if you haven't, but like aerial adventures where you wear a harness and you kind of on objects that are hanging in trees and stuff like that. I was doing one of those. Doing one of those. We've got it's called Go Ape over here. I don't know if you have something similar, but I was doing one of those with Jaya, and she's in front of me, and she's on one of these obstacles, and it's basically just a piece of wood suspended from a tree, like by two bits of rope, and there's loads of them, and she's got to kind of like walk around. They're really slippy, and as she's going along, she slips and she falls into the harness, which obviously is quite scary because you're 20 foot up in the tree. And I heard her drop the S word. And I looked at her and she realized, looked at me, and I just looked at her and just started laughing. And she's like looking really confused. And when she got onto the next platform, I got across with her and I was like, look, I get why you said it. I absolutely get it. You were in the moment. It's scary. That's fine. You've used it in the correct, like, I drop something or if I slip or something like you say it and it comes out and says you've used it exactly where somebody would use it. That's fine. Don't use it all the time. Logan yesterday used the F word in exactly the right context. And because I was getting him out of the car. Lindsay was getting something out of the boot, and I was like, I caught him out of the car after I told him, like, you don't use those words. They're really naughty. Put him on the floor. I turned around, and Lindsay is almost crying with silent laughter. He basically, like, he was trying to open the car door to get out after, like, he'd got himself out of his seat, and he literally just went, I couldn't get the door open, and I was like, what? What? So like just use it, but yeah, I just other than that, I don't like the kids using any bad language other than when, like, if you cut yourself, if you drop something on your toe, if like you slip and you fall, that's fine. It just slips out. It's there. It's part of the English language. You can't hide it. But to just use it like F this and F that and F the other, no, it's just a big thing. But yeah, but like I said, now like we started talking about it, I can just they're just dropping like,
that's how it always works. All right, the last top 10 coming up. Let's see what's going on with the top 10 of the gaming topic. All right, this is going to be our top 10 games of 2020. Doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't have to be Nintendo. Just what we think is our top 10 games. Sean, why don't you start us off? What's your top? Well, wait. Why don't we do this one backwards? Why don't we go 10 to 1 on this one? Why don't we do it that way? So what is your number 10 game, Sean?
So my number 10 game, I haven't done mine in a specific order. So what's number 10 on my list is Super Mario 3D All-Stars.
Sorry. This is, you didn't, I'm sorry. I didn't understand. My bad.
Yeah. But if you want me to do it, probably Cyberpunk 2077 is probably the bottom of the list.
Is the bottom of the list.
Just because of the massive dumpster fire that it has been.
Yeah, because you had a lot of glitches in your system, right, to play it? Or it's almost unplayable, you said, in the last.
So I'm still waiting for Microsoft to say this is when the next lot of Xboxes are coming, because I am getting one. That's the aim for the end of this month is to have a new Xbox. So,
nice.
So Cyberpunk 2077 might go from bottom to top very quickly.
There you go. Yeah, that very well could be. Number 10 for me, Clubhouse Games. It's on there really thanks to Sean. Thanks to Drew and John for Monthly Mayhem. I enjoyed it a lot. I'm not going to say I played it a ton after that. Every once in a while, my son and I will break it out and play some checkers or some tanks. He really likes the tanks games. But number 10 is Clubhouse Games for me. What's number 9 for you, Sean?
Number 9 is a game called Pipe BMX. There's 3 games in a similar sort of genre. So I really like Tony Hawk's as a kid growing up, and then EA launched the Skate franchise, which kind of took it to the next level for how you control the skater and the board as two separate entities and stuff like that. But then also as a kid, I used to play Dave Mirra Freestyle BMX, which
yeah, I played that a little bit.
Incidentally, I need to reach out to Dan because my mum found my original PlayStation, the first PlayStation.
Really?
She's found my original copy of Dave Mirra's Freestyle BMX remix, which was really hard to come by at the time anyway. So I wanted to know if that's worth anything as a collector or if it's just worth nothing. But yeah, so I used to love playing those games because I used to do a lot of mountain biking, BMXing, skating as a kid. I used to throw myself off steps and everything, and was an idiot. But so yeah, pipe BMX. It was a bit of a group of developers basically that didn't have a massive budget set about trying to make a BMXing game. It's very raw. It's very difficult. There isn't much of a soundtrack to the game. There isn't many levels to it, but they've really homed in on how you control the bike and the character really well. It needs a lot of work. There is another BMX game that's similar, that's in the pipeline, that's coming out, but it's only available on Steam, and not having a computer that can run Steam very well or the internet that runs streaming it very well, I've not been able to do anything with it. So, but that's number 9.
Nice. Number 9 for me, Mario Kart Live. Not gonna lie, we don't play it much, but when we do, it's a ton of fun. It's a great concept. This is the one, FYI, in case you're unfamiliar, where you you buy the car too, and it has an AR camera on it, and you're racing basically on a Mario Kart track made in your own home. So when we do play it, we have a ton of fun. We don't break it out as much as I would probably like us to, hence the reason I never bought a second one. I really thought it'd be cool to race them together, but we just don't play it enough to spend that kind of money. So yeah, Mario Kart Live makes number 9 for me.
Cool. I'm going to do 8 and 7 at the same time because they're basically the same game, just with 2 different titles.
Okay.
The same genre. So off the back of Pipe BMX and like the playing skate, Creature Studios and the guys behind the Berrics, which is a skate park in Los Angeles, I believe, that's run by 2 OG, like the people I used to have, Eric Costin and Steve Bearer, who were like 2 big idols of mine when I was a kid skating.
That's awesome.
They made a company called the Berrics. They do loads of the massive social media giants. But they worked on a game called Skater XL. And so in 8th place for me would be the one by Creature Studios, which is called Sessions. And that's only because it's a bit more difficult than Skater XL in there's a lot more to control. Like, not only do you control just the feet of the character, but you also control the individual foot and the way that you place the foot. And there's a lot more in the mechanics to it. Yeah, so it makes it really difficult to play. But if you really like skating and like the technicality side of skating, it's a great game. A Skater XL's got similar sort of mechanics, but easier to pick up. So that's why that gets 7th. And I actually spend quite a lot of time playing Skater XL. It's the game that if I fire up the Xbox and I've only got like 40 minutes, I'll play that rather than anything else because it doesn't take long to load and it's a good way of passing time. So sure, that's 8 and 7.
Well, that works out well for me because I mean my next 2 games are Mario games. 8 and 7 both. 8 is Super Mario 3D All Stars. I know it's not, it's just a package of what we've already got. They didn't do. I wish they would have maybe cleaned up a little bit of stuff, especially in Super Mario 64 with that dreadful camera. But And then my next one is Super Mario 35. I played that. I didn't really get into the monthly mayhem for that. People just really flew like way high, and I knew I was like, I don't want to spend that much time in this game to get that. But I really like the concept. It's the Tetris 99 version. It's the Super Mario version of Tetris 99. Except I'm horrible at Tetris 99, and I actually was able to like at least compete in this version, and so that was a lot of fun. It was a really good reimagining or a way to like revamp the old the OG Super Mario, I guess you'd say. So
yeah, I enjoyed that one as well. It did make another reason why I did make the top 10 is because of how much I didn't play it.
yeah, that was a thing that I was like, oh, I don't know.
So the next one, which would be 6, is Tom Clancy's The Division 2, which I don't know how much you enjoy third-person like cover shooters and stuff like that, but if it ever pops out, if the original one ever pops up on Game Pass, I'd definitely advise picking it up on the Xbox because it's The Division and The Division 2 are two very good games, very post-apocalyptic survival games, but the first one definitely was amazing. It's set basically in the full map of New York City, so
wow.
And it's like a flu. Basically, it's like coronavirus. It's actually, the more I think about it, it's exactly like that. There's a massive flu pandemic that had killed thousands of people in the city and brought it to lockdown. There's like, wow. Actually, the more I describe it, it really is like now.
You're like, well, it's 2020 is what we got here.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
But yeah, basically, The Division is 2020. But yeah, that was a really good game.
So it's an open world game?
It is an open world game. It was the first game to use the Snowflake engine, graphics engine. So like real time weather changes, real time night to day changes.
It's on Game Pass, right?
If Division's on Game Pass, I'd definitely pick it up. I think you'd really enjoy it. It's a very, very long, very much cover and shoot game with a tech side of it. So you get like little remote turrets and you can like a controlled rolling grenade. So a bit like what's the BB-8? Bit like BB-8 basically, but you put it on the floor and you can control where it goes, or it can automatically lock on. It screams in between all the obstacles and explodes when it hits the target and stuff like that.
That's really cool. Yeah, I didn't. Sorry, I'm more interested knowing it's an open world game. I'm fairly certain I saw it on there, but I didn't realize that that's what it was.
Yeah, there's different districts. So, like there is in New York, there's all the different boroughs and stuff like that, and the different districts have harder enemies and stuff like that than others. So it is open world, but you can only get to a certain point where you don't have the right firepower to take on those people, which is fair enough. Kind of, otherwise you could walk around everywhere. But yeah, there's proper infected zones. So you have to go in these infected zones, you have to have a respirator mask and you have to have the right level filter in this mask to go inside certain buildings because the air and the contamination in that area is higher than anywhere else, like the coronavirus. But yeah, they've got like Macy's shopping centers in there. Madison Square Gardens is there. It basically is the New York City main Manhattan Island, all there. And there's a multiplayer aspect to it as well, so which is pretty good.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I might have to check that out. Although I say that, but I still have Fable loaded, and I want to check that out, and I haven't gotten there either. I'm too slow on these games. That's the problem. Like John from Retro Logic is like, "Get beat Immortals." I'm like, you just started like a week ago. How'd you beat it up? I don't know. Anyways, next game for me. Tangent. Boomerang Fu. It's probably a weird one, but of all the games on this list so far, that's the game I have played the most. By far, without a doubt, my son absolutely loves that game, and we I mean, it's just a game we have played a ton of in December. With if we're playing a game together, it's probably Boomerang Food. It really is well balanced. It's a game where they've really thought about what kind of attack you need. You got short, you got medium, you got long, and though it's only just one boomerang, it's just a ton of fun. So it's a good game.
Excuse me.
And I just put Sean to sleep talking about a boomerang.
No, it's not that. It's staying up till late has really caught up with me.
Yeah.
It's also trying to make sense of my list. So probably the next one is Paper Mario. It was a fantastic game, but now I finished it. There isn't a right lot to go back and do, which is why it isn't high up. If they add content to it at a later date, that'd be great. But yeah, it's the only reason why it's not higher up. Is that there's games that I've played more and had more content to it once I'd finished it. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, I really enjoyed that too. And in my head, I was gonna like 100% it because I did beat it, but I was gonna like do it, but then no, never. So never happened. Spirit Fair is next on my list. I haven't beat this game yet. I need to go back and beat it. I'm probably halfway through it. Really had enjoyed and have enjoyed what I played. Spiriting spirits to the other side you got to finish their tasks and get them to the other side of the world or whatever. And you're building your boat along with it. And so I have it's a game right up my alley, and I've certainly enjoyed it so far.
Cool. I think the next one is Super Mario 3D All Stars for me, and that's just for the nostalgia level. I absolutely loved it, and loads of people hit that saying, "Oh, the Super Mario 64 the camera was still as broken as it was in the original." I completely disagree. I think they've done a really good job of fixing it.
You think it's fixed?
I think it's fixed in the way that you can control it. Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I beat that game on Super Mario 3D All Stars, and I thought it was. Don't get me wrong. I don't know that I wanted them to fix it, but wow. Now I want to play it on an N64, which is never going to happen. But I want to only to see how broken it is on an N64. That thing is, man. And I mean, I have played it on N64. I just don't remember it.
No, I've got an N64 upstairs with Super Mario 64 and Ocarina of Time. And Pokemon Snap, which I want another Pokemon Snap.
Yeah, we were supposed to get that. That never happened. I mean, I'm sure we will, but I thought we would have had it by December, quite frankly.
But yeah.
So your testament is that that Super Mario 64 is better on 3D All Stars than it is on the N64. They've done something to help it.
Yes, they've made it. You don't have to use those those three little yellow buttons to control the camera, which they've put it in a more easier place to get to. That's the only way I say it's fixed, is it's easier to manage.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, man, because that was tough. That's all I got to say. That was, I was ready to be done with that game when I was done with that game. That's all I can say. I'm sorry, were you done? I didn't mean to.
Yeah, I'm done. Sorry.
Sorry, I was just shocked by that. The next one for me is Immortals. I'm not gonna lie, there might be some recency bias here, but I have really enjoyed it. I really thought, should it be below or some of these other games? But I don't think it should. I so far have really enjoyed my time with this game. So it's really, I've already talked about it enough, I think.
So start with those. What shows? And see, I should have done my list in like top.
You're fine. You're fine. No, you're just trying to like do the math in your head. Like I've like carried the one, and then I got two, and I just used that one.
So this would be my third place then. Yeah. So Tony Hawk's 1 and 2 remake. I have almost 100% of that game.
I'm surprised you haven't. I figured you would have by now.
No, how good I'm getting at Warzone or Call of Duty Warzone, which the only reason why Warzone didn't make this list is it came out in 2019. Otherwise, it'd be at the top of this list. I'm getting so much better at Warzone, and that's thanks to TikTok. Basically, I'm watching short TikTok videos of other people doing stuff, and I'm like, oh, didn't realize you could do it. That's an amazing edit. So yeah, but yeah, Tony Hawk's is up there again. The nostalgia thing, but Activision did a really, really good job at bumping the graphics on this thing. Not only did they remake, but they completely like remastered, reimagined, redid. But then also made all the original skaters older, brought in new skaters that are relevant to 2020 and 2019. There's the skate team that USA are releasing for the Olympics. If they don't take every medal, I will be shocked, well and truly, because you've got like Nigel Houston, and which you're looking a little bit like. But
I'm just listening. Yeah, no, you're way out of my league. I'm just listening.
If you YouTube Nigel Houston and his Pushing for Gold segment that he's done, they've done an episode of each skater that's going to skate for the US skate team. They are fantastic. They're like the absolute masters of the game at the moment. And they brought all them into Tony Hawk's, which was really nice. It was a good nod from Activision to acknowledge that and bring them in. So they did a really good job.
Cool. Number 3 for me is Paper Mario. So really already talked about that. I had fun with my son with that. So yeah, Paper
The
Mario.
story was so good.
It really was.
The heartfelt bit with Babon was amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So number 2 on my list, and it was a very close battle between these two because they came out at exactly the same time, and I've probably spent as much time playing them both, which shockingly I didn't pick up Doom Eternal until like I've put a lot of hours into Doom Eternal. Is Doom Eternal is number 2 in my top 10. It's just a good game. I don't know how much of it you've managed to play. Or
not much. I mean, it doesn't shock me that it's number 2. That doesn't shock me at all. It does shock me that you put in a similar amount of hours into that game. Wow, that game is a lot longer than I anticipated.
It's only going back and trying to 100% it. So
yeah,
and then doing it on the various different levels, like difficulty settings, just for fun, basically. Just want to make it as hard as possible for the laugh. But
yeah, I can't imagine that game on like the crazy levels that were. I can't imagine. My second is Ori and the Will of the Wisps, which is kind of a cheat because it technically, I believe, came out in 2019 on Xbox. I think it did. Maybe it came out in 2020. I can't remember. Anyways, it came out in 2020 on the Switch. That's for sure. And so that's where I saw it. Or that's where I got to play. And so
I tried to play those because they were on Game Pass, aren't they?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So I downloaded them on the Xbox and Game Pass and tried to play them, and I didn't understand what I was doing.
I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I didn't download it on the Xbox. I didn't play it on Xbox. I'm sure it's beautiful on the Xbox compared to the Switch. But it just seems like a game if you can cozy up on the couch and put on some headphones and just because it's got a great story. I don't know. It just that's my baby. That's how I want it. That's how I like to take in games like that. It just seems like a game made for the Switch in that sense. So yeah.
And then of course, I think number 1 for both of us, as soon as we've done a podcast for nearly a year on this game, is Animal Crossing.
That's right.
For 2020. So I don't follow the Game of the Year titles and stuff for games because I think sometimes it's rigged, not rigged, but it's biased based on like the platforms that are out there. So Xbox did it for quite a few years based on the fact that they released a new console and so on and so forth. What awards has this game actually been given?
Animal Crossing?
Yes.
Did it
get Game of the Year?
No, it didn't get Game of the Year. No. It didn't. It was nominated, but it didn't get Game of the Year. It got Family Game, I believe. I don't know if it got much else than that, quite frankly. I mean, I'm sure it's been given awards by other places, but by like the big Game Awards show, it missed Game of the Year, and that's all I really know. And I know it got Family Game. I'm like 99.9% sure it got Family Game. So yeah, but I think I can't remember what game. I'm not even gonna try to sit here and say I know which game. I don't remember. But yeah, it's obviously my Game of the Year. I mean, that was that was obvious. I was unsure though if it was going to be your Game of the Year. I was interested to see if that was going to actually be your
game. For some strange reason, that website has crashed. I was just quickly looking through now. I've got a list of what games won what. So no, it didn't win anything. Wow, not a single thing.
It didn't win Family Game of the Year? I thought it did.
No, Untitled Goose Game.
One family game of the year?
Game's so funny though.
That's pretty special. That is a good game. That's a good game. I don't know, but anyways, we're not gonna do it. But yeah, that's my top 10. That's your top 10.
Yeah, that's pretty good. So to take us out of all these top 10s, I wish there was a lot. I'm surprised we didn't. No, it's not. It's the first podcast of 2021. So
yes, it is.
I'm surprised we didn't do any resolutions. So I think my next resolution is to probably be more prepared with everything.
My resolution is to make a resolution.
Yeah. Oh dear. But yeah, as always, Dad Crossing is a part of the Nintendo Dad Family podcast. You can find new Nintendo Dad content wherever podcasts are found. If you have any questions, comments, feedback, because we do enjoy feedback, it's what helps us tailor this into something which is nicer for your ears. Reach out to us on Twitter and Instagram. Everything is at @NDadCrossing. We want to thank the Nintendo Dads for allowing us to operate under their umbrella. And from Nick and myself, Sean, we hope your village is snowy and your villagers are happy.
Now we'll go back.